The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy E-Buck in the building, your favorite co-host with the mostest, ready to get it in and talk about these sports with y'all. And of course, this is the show we call the Sportsguru Sports Perspective, and we cannot have that perspective without the sports guru himself, the one and only Hugh Lee. What's going on, Hugh?
Hey, what's up, man? It feel good to finally be starting to get all these upgrades and stuff on my end, man, so we can do the show and give y'all the best, that we have and, give us our knowledge and do what we can, when y'all available. So, yeah, man, it took a while, but then I'm finally to the point where everything start trending in the right direction, man. Definitely good to know that that's starting to happen now and starting to materialize.
Yeah, it's crazy that we wait till the season finale to get it all together. But, we're going to talk about that at the end of the show, y'all. Fear not. We got some things cooking up for y'all. But in the meanwhile, we definitely going to talk sports today. And unfortunately, my good people, and I'm actually going to put these on because I don't know how emotional I'm going to get. And the sun's bothering me a little bit. It's real bright here in the studio today. But, yeah, basically, we got to talk about the man, the myth himself. We lost him yesterday. He is by far, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest, if not the greatest baseball player to ever play the game. That would be, of course, the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. I'll go ahead and let you start here, and then I'll jump on in.
Man, that broke my heart, man, to hear that, man. I was on the phone, having a great conversation with an old friend of mine, and I just so happened to look up, and I'm like, man, is this, really true? Man, I had to check. Because when I got the news, I got it from ESPN, and then, Bleacher Report followed CBS News, and it was just like it came in crazy. And I wanted to tell you earlier, but I know you was working, man. What was so crazy about it is, how when after baseball and stuff go off the air, that I usually would do like the highlights and stuff on Instagram and on TikTok. That was so important. When that happened, they stopped everything, man. I didn't put up anything because most of the stuff that you've seen on the page where I get my highlights and stuff on MLB.com, all it had was pictures of Willie Mays, man, and his accolades on what he did for baseball. And it's just really cool because he was one of the founding fathers. He was in the Negro League, and he was one of the guys who actually came over to the MLB. So it was good to see a lot of that, man, and a lot of the history and like how the guys integrated the Negro League to the MLB and just the things of that nature, man, that happened. And I was just glad that he was still alive when all this stuff went down, man, because a lot of those guys did, and we talked about it, man. We was excited to see that they integrated the Negro League and then put it in the MLB. But I was like, what about all these people who died, man? Their families are happy, but they didn't get a chance to enjoy their accolades, man. And when Willie Mays, came up and they talked about him and one of the guys who was in the Negro League, it was really exciting, man. But I was just blessed that he was actually at least able to see that before he ended up, passing away. So that was one of my things I was thankful for.
Well, keep in mind, y'all, basically you're going to get a couple things on the screen. Keep in mind, I'm recording this ahead of time, but I'm definitely going to post a couple things. One of them I'm going to post is where you can watch the documentary about Willie Mays. I actually watched a little bit of that this morning. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it tonight. Understand, he was talking about Willie Mays' times in the Negro League. Let me put you up on a few facts that some of y'all might not have known about the great Willie Mays. First of all, he was my father's favorite player. When I first fell in love with baseball back in the early 70s, that was like a few years after Willie Mays had retired. But, my father learned that I liked baseball. He definitely told me about Willie Mays, and, that was definitely somebody that I looked into early on in my reading life and learned some things about him. For example, he was talking about his time in the Negro League. Do you know, Hugh, that when he was in the Negro League, he was actually still in high school?
I didn't know that, man. That's new to me.
Yeah, he actually went to school during the week and played in the Negro Leagues on the weekend. Did you also know when he basically went to San Francisco Giants, he only spent 25 games in the minor leagues. In those 25 games, he batted over 475. And they brought him up real quick. Now, I'm also going to post some of his numbers when we do this later on. Keeping in mind that, when he finished, he was the number 2 ranking person in terms of home runs. They had hit the most home runs of anybody in the history of the National League. Of course, Henry Aaron passed him up, and he was number 3 all time. And even now, he still is number 5, I want to say.
Yeah, to this day.
His godson, for those of you who don't know, his godson, of course, is the great Barry Bonds, who I'm pretty sure is definitely going through it today because he loved that man like he loved his father. And they were very, very close, even more so during those times when Barry got in trouble. Willie was the one person that still had his back and looked out for him. So, yeah, I imagine it's really a hard day for him. But another thing about Willie Mays, understand that even though he did play 24 seasons and made it to more All-Star games than anybody, in other words, every year he was in the major leagues, he went to the All-Star game. Remarkable. But did you also know 2 of those seasons in between, he was in the Korean War and did not play baseball? And that was during his prime years. So imagine if he would have played those 2 years, he probably would have messed around and broke Babe Ruth's record for home runs before Hank Aaron did.
Agree.
So there's that. Not to mention if he would have just went ahead and started when he played in Negro Leagues in high school, even still. But he was that good. We talking about 12 gold gloves. We talking about over 3,000 hits. We talking about career batting average over 300. You see the stats, at least you will. By far, if not the best baseball player, maybe outside of Babe Ruth, perhaps, because Babe Ruth both was a hitter and a pitcher, definitely one of the top 3 or 4 of all time. And I'm really hoping that in these days and weeks to come that they do tributes to him. And I strongly encourage y'all to, if you have a little time, it's summertime, sit down with your kids and watch the documentary. Learn something about baseball back in the day. I think that'd be good for all the family.
Yeah, it was a thing I saw me and my dad before. It was around the 4th of July, and it hit close to home too. It was actually really good, man. It was a documentary, man. And my dad used to have where he used to get up real early, man, like early times in the morning, like 6, 7. So I'm sleeping. He got the TV loud as heck. So I wake up like, man, what the heck going on? What is he doing? And he watched that special, man. And I woke up and then, gathered myself, man. And it was crazy, because we watched that special damn near all day before like the games and stuff came on. Because it came on like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. But we was watching from how they got to arbitration, how the players started to, get their money and how they fought for their money, and they were winning all the cases and building an empire for baseball to where they ended up being damn near billion-dollar players, man. And it was pretty good because it showed from where they first began in the 1900s to where they're at today. And those were really good specials, man. But I definitely want to check out the Hank Aaron special, man, and the Willie Mays and some of the other guys that that I was a little too young to really catch up with, because yeah, I know that when it came to baseball, I came in kind of later, like I was 8. But that was around the time when the Tigers first won their first, World Series, man. So yeah, I came in the game a little bit more later than some, but yeah, but just really enjoy baseball and just want to look at our Black history. And I really hope that they do a documentary now about the Negro League and how everything started to get integrated, where they put the Negro and the MLB together. I hope the MLB Network or somebody work on a special about that now. I think that'd be amazing.
Right. And I also hope that, because MLB Network also sometimes shows the classic games. I hope they show the one All-Star game where basically they said they had the greatest outfield ever to play in the All-Star game. when you had Willie Mays in center, you had Hank Aaron on one side and Roberto Clemente on the other. By far, one of the best outfields you will ever see, because those are three of the best players ever to do.
Man, did you hear that crazy thing? I think I sent it to you, man. It was one guy, man. It was a pitcher back in the Negro League. I don't think it was in the Negro League. I take that back. I'm thinking it was in when they started integrating, bringing more black players over, man. It was a guy who was on LSD, and he pitched a perfect game. Did I send you that?
No, you did not.
I gotta send that to you. I forgot his name, but he did a perfect, threw a perfect game, man, off LSD.
That's crazy. Oh, one more fact about Willie Mays I learned today. Did you know at one point the St. Louis Cardinals were offering the San Francisco Giants? Keep in mind, we're talking about back in the mid-50s, I believe it was. They offered the San Francisco Giants $1 million for Willie Mays. They were going to buy him straight up for $1 million. Keep in mind, we're talking the mid-50s. $1 million back then was a lot of money.
Man.
That's basically like $50 million now. And for one player, no less. That's just how good they thought he was. And imagine what his career would have been like if he would have played in St. Louis as opposed to San Francisco.
And you know, St. Louis is definitely a player's place, man. Everybody who go there love it, you know.
Not to mention the fact that they were going to pair him with Stan Musial at the time. So, yeah, imagine them two hitting back to back.
I definitely would like to see that, man. It's been like just really good right now. I've been checking out a lot more baseball too, because you know now after the NBA finals, we don't have anything right now besides WNBA. So it was actually pretty cool to kind of look in and see more of the baseball games, man. I was on Cody, and I looked at some of the games that was on there, man, and just seeing some of the stuff that was happening around the league, and there's a lot of good stuff was going on. It was just at the time, it was so much stuff going on. You had the WNBA back, and then, you had, the NBA finals. And so I was like, it took a little bit of a backseat, but then now that I watched the last few days, it's definitely been refreshing to see what's been going on. Some stuff that happened kind of scared me. My man's Aaron Judge got hit by a pitch, and he going to be out for a few days. So I wasn't too happy with that. I kind of
better a few days than a few months. I know you seen what happened to Mookie Betts the other day.
Man, yeah, he out 6 days.
Man, I hate that.
They better hold it down for him too, man. They paid too much money to not do well this year, man. And I'm definitely looking for. I would love to see a World Series with them and the Yankees, man. The two highest payroll teams, man. But we'll never know when we'll get that, man. And what's so crazy is sometimes you can have the best record, don't mean you're always gonna be in the World Series. We seen that last year. We seen most of the number one seeds get beat, so I was really surprised. And they were saying that they're going to change that format too. At the beginning, like how they'll have like 5-game series. Now they trying to make everything 7 now, man, because they feel like that some of them teams might be a little sluggish from having a little time off, and they just want to try to get them to the point to where they can make more money, because they losing a lot of money when that stuff happening.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day when major leagues go back to the old format and basically get down to about 144 games instead of 162, because remember, during that time, we talking about Willie Mays days, it wasn't 162 games all those years either. So add that to the mix, and that's how many more home runs that Willie Mays probably would have had. But, of course, before we go on to the next thing, I do want to acknowledge something else. But before we do that, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will talk about another great that we lost last week after we weren't on the air. And that, of course, would be the great Jerry West. It is the Sportsguru Sports Perspective. We'll be back after these words from the Nighthawk Network. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
Radio on Blog Talk Radio or where most great music podcasts are located. Don't forget to subscribe and show some love.
Hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up.
All right, good people. Hold on, folks. We are back, but we have some technical difficulty. So what we're going to do is take a couple more commercials. We'll be back, though. All right, we are back. We had a couple things we had to work out right quick, but we back on it, Poppy. You know, the new technology got us a little, we sputtered for a second, but we worked it out. We are back talking sports, and before we get into the finals and some WNBA, we also want to talk about another passing last week, that of the great Jerry West. Ian, you go ahead and start it off, folks.
Man, was really surprised when that hit too, man. It just seems like they came out of nowhere. You know, Jerry West, which we call the logo, man. He just did so much for the league, man. We know he was like the two-time executive of the year. He was the NBA champion, went to 14 NBA All-Stars, and every 14 season for the 14 seasons he played. And one of the craziest thing that I've seen, and I never thought that can happen before. They did it then, so that's what let you know how good he was. He was on the losing team and won the MVP, and I've never heard of that before until then when they were saying that he won the league MVP even on the losing team. So it was like a lot of things that he did for the game, man. And it was real cool, man, because I was just really surprised in seeing how good he was. And I remember at one point just how humble he was, man. He wasn't one of those real arrogant type guys, too. What I liked about him was I know when they asked the questions before, like, well, you think that like somebody like Jordan in this new era should be on the logo? And he was like, well, you know, if that's what they wanted to do, I feel like Jordan done enough to where he can, you know, get that claim. You know, he actually backed it up when, you know, everybody else was like, nah, we're not having that, man. We're sticking with Jerry. But he was just one of those, you know, soft-spoken. He wasn't arrogant at all, man. He was just a really good person and hard. And then, you know, I like the fact that he was a great player, became a great coach, and then even stepped his game up into the executive role. So yeah, he did a lot for the NBA, man. And I just appreciate everything that he's done. I know, you know, you heard things from Michael Jordan, from him, you know, getting advice from Jerry to Magic Johnson, and, you know, just a lot of players, man, gave their love for him, man. Like a lot of the Golden State Warrior players, because from when before he came to them, man, they wasn't no champions, man. He turned a team who was like one of the worst teams in the league to NBA champions, and they end up building a dynasty in Golden State. So yeah, it's a lot of things that they're being done for the sport, and he forgot a lot more than what we know, you know. So yeah, it was just really an honor, man, and it was sad too because we lost, you know, so many people, man. You know, Willie Mays, then Jerry, you know, West. It was like back to back, and they happened out of nowhere. Most of it happened like when I was getting ready to go to bed, or if I woke up in the morning, you know, I was seeing that news. But yeah, man, you know, just was really blessed to see both of those guys and what they contributed and what they did for the sport, man, for football, for basketball and for baseball, man. And but yeah, Willie hit me the hardest, man. It was just as bad as when you know, we lost some of our greats, man. Like I think one of the shockers to me was when we lost Frank, you know, from the Steelers, man. You know, that hit me kind of hard. But yeah, man, it was just really shocking, man, to see that. You know, we hate the news and we hate to hear about that. But like I said, I was just blessed with what they contributed and what they meant to the game too as well.
I said it's truly a blessing that once you get older, you gain all this wisdom from having lived so long. and learn so much from not only your life but the lives of others. But the hard part of getting older is the fact that with each passing day we lose more and more of the people that we looked up to and the people that we admired. And definitely Willie Mays was that, not just for myself and you, but for a lot of people. So I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all it hit a certain way today. I'm sure my father was still alive, God rest his soul. He definitely would have been hurt by this news as well. So you know, in an ideal world, my friends, we have to kind of find our way through it and realize that that's part of the aging process. It's part of the circle of life that as we get older, we're going to lose some of our greats. And we definitely lost a couple good ones in the last couple of weeks, man. You know, they say and things of that nature, death come in threes. So I'm really hoping that, you know, if that's the case, we don't lose somebody. Even I couldn't even, I don't even want to talk about it no more. We got to move on.
Because, you know, that hit me as hard as when, you know, Jim Brown passed, man. You know, the Willie, you know, that kind of hit hard this morning. So, yeah, I know me and you was kind of, we look like we tired because we, after that news, you know, how we took it, man. I was just trying to keep busy, you know. So just really glad to, you know, have the show and kind of express our condolences and, you know, the respects for them and their families.
Right. So, like I said, those are the players from the past. We now got to talk about some players from the present. So, it's on you, Hugh. What we doing next, man?
Man, I wanted to get into the NBA Finals, man. And then it's funny, too, because I know you checked out the show yesterday, man, the Guru's Perspective. And you know why I've been so critical of Boston, because I know you said it before, like, damn, why you so critical of Boston, man? You know, you hard on them. But as a fan, you respect it now because I was a huge fan. You know, I don't even know if you remembered, man. I had so much high hopes on Boston. I think when I lost hope in those guys, and it was like when they say a woman is scorned or a woman have a situation where you can never win them back. I was in that situation with the Boston Celtics because the year when I thought that they definitely was going to go to the NBA Finals was the year that they played Miami, and I thought they had the better matchup and the better team, and they went down 3-0. They won 3 straight games, and then the last game in Boston, when, you know, Jason Tatum got hurt, and then I felt like at the time I was pissed off because Jaylen Brown didn't hold it down and they end up losing. And I said, every time I think them guys was going to do something, man, they let me down. And the only time I looked at them like I didn't think they was going to win the finals was when they played Golden State that year. And when you looked up and you seen how they was constantly letting you down. So I just didn't feel like they had it in them. And that was the thing. I said, I just don't think they got what it takes. And they proved me wrong this whole year. At one time when we talked, you thought I was going to say something crazy, but when we seen Miami had those 23 threes, even without Jimmy Buckets, man, it ain't no way you're going to be the team if they can hit that many threes. And I accepted that. And I started giving them a little bit more leeway because for the most part, man, in the series, man, either the teams that they played, did any other teams win 2 games at least? Because most of the games I've seen that Boston won, they won all gentlemen sweeps. I've noticed that because I was like, man, I didn't think Boston lost 2 games in the series after that, you know. But yeah, that's what I respected about them, man, because I've always had high hopes for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Just didn't feel like they had enough. So I like to give credit where credit is due and say to Brad Stevens, man, for him being a coach and then end up being an executive, man, I like to give him much credit, man, because for him to go out and then get Kristaps Porzingis, I still didn't think that was enough. When they got rid of Marcus Smart, you know, I was critical of that too. But then I think the best thing that could have happened to them was the fact that selfishly, I know that Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't too happy when he found out that Drew Holiday was leaving and he ended up being released. But I know he was happy to get Dame Lillard. He didn't expect for them to make that move with Drew Holiday. But come on now, let's be honest. You know, if you was going to get Dame, that you wasn't going to be able to keep both of them with the salary cap. You know, you couldn't keep both. So when he ended up being in free agency, I said, I don't know where he gonna land. I said, but man, it'll be a problem if he lands somewhere where he don't have no business landed. And that's when I heard from the talking head, Stephen A. He was like, man, I was being real critical of Boston letting Marcus Smart go. But he said, Lord forbid if they mess around and get Drew Holiday. He said, I am scared because, you know, he's a Knicks fan. Sure enough, soon as they turned, it wasn't even a week later, he signed with the Boston Celtics. And I know, are you familiar with, he signed like a 4-year, $135 million contract to stay with Boston before the playoffs even started. So yeah, man, they're definitely trying to work on the dynasty. But man, it was some really crazy games. And I know I was critical, and a lot of people were, about how when it all started, that was like they just had a pretty good road, an easy road to the playoffs or to the finals, versus Dallas had to scrape and, crawl for everything, and they earned everything they got. People didn't think Boston earned what they got because it was a lot of injuries. Joel was injured, so that was a case where we knew we weren't going to see them play Boston. And then you seen all the people, Jimmy Buckets got hurt in the first series, and then Donovan Mitchell, then you turn around and Tyrese Halliburton, and a lot of people was even questioning, was Luka healthy enough? But even when Luka was healthy, man, Boston did the exact same thing that they did in the playoffs that they did in the regular season. So I look at it and I say people still are not giving credit where credit is due with the Boston Celtics, because they were saying that this was probably one of the worst teams as far as the championship team compared to the other greats. Have you been hearing that rumor?
Yeah, I get that, but we got to go back a few steps. You gave Brad Stevens his credit, and you should have. He definitely played a key role in this, but we really got to talk about some of the other architects of how this all really happened. First and foremost, you got to put some respect on Danny Ainge's name in all of this.
Because before he left,
Ainge set Boston up to ultimately succeed. This would never happen. Remember, it was Danny Ainge who made the hardest trade in the history of Boston when he traded one of their favorites, Paul Pierce, who, and give him credit for agreeing to the trade because he did have no trade call at the time. And of course, the great Kevin Garnett, when they traded them to Brooklyn to get the picks that ended up being Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, first and foremost. Second of all, you got to give credit to a man that me and you both have been very hard on in this whole process, because he's absolutely earned his stripes with it. And that would be the youngest coach in the NBA, one Joe Mazzulla. Because remember, we was hard on him from the beginning. Remember, this is a kid who has never been a head coach anywhere. I mean, anywhere. Understanding that man is younger than myself and you, and was put in charge of one of the biggest teams in the NBA. And yeah, he definitely made some mistakes along the way. We have definitely chronicled that over the years here on the network. But when push came to shove and he had the opportunity to make it all right, he did just that. And he not only has earned my respect, but he earns whatever large contract that he about to get from Boston. You also got to put some respect on Jason Tatum's name. People have been very critical of Jason Tatum over the years, and clearly it was starting to get to him at times, but he has earned it. Okay, so when they have a parade sometime tomorrow, Friday, hopefully they stay hydrated because it should be just as hot in Boston as it is here now. Talk your ish, Jason Tatum. Talk your ish. You have earned the right to do so, not to mention the fact that my brother, you may not have won the MVP, but what you will win is a huge Supermax contract. So I am not mad or sad for you. You done got some extra money from Nike along the way too. So yeah, ain't about to mess around and get a gold medal on top of that. So I ain't mad at none of it.
That was a dope ass commercial. That new Nike commercial. It was like he basically got all that stuff finally off his chest. That was a really good commercial. That was damn near as good as that Kobe Bryant I've been hating you commercial, man. Yeah, he got all that off his chest. But yeah, right.
So when you and young Deuce, your son, is sitting there later on around about August, and you sitting there signing that ridiculous contract for about $65 million a season, get paid, my brother. Get paid.
Did you see the homage I gave them though, man? I had to bite my tongue because it kind of made me feel like I had to eat the crow too. I was one of them critics who ate the crow, man. It didn't taste so good because remember I had Dallas in 6, but I definitely gave them probably one of the best slideshows and championship homages that I've ever did on the reels, man. That's why I'm earlier today. I didn't get your response, but I wanted to know, did you see the reel?
Well, like I said, we'll make sure that when we do the recording later on live, that we will slide that into the comments as well, so y'all can check that out for yourself.
And I like how Pride was too. Pride basically been saying that about Luka for a while. When we start giving that man his praise and giving him his flowers, that all in all, man, he dribbles too much. He needs to, start passing the ball and being more contributor to as far as a team player. And he felt like a lot of that.
People, hold on. I said it to Pride. Let me say this to you now, Hugh. I don't feel like that was the issue. There were 3 issues. One, first of all, your running mate, the Robin in the scenario.
Yeah, he let him down.
Uncle Drew, he did not show up. I'm sorry.
No.
He let Boston get in his head. It was very, very apparent.
Yeah.
First of all. Second of all, we don't know how injured Luka truly was. I think in the days to come, it will not surprise me, much like we found out today that Kristaps Porzingis needs surgery. I would not be surprised if we find out about Luka either. He was very banged up, and for somebody that was that beat up, for him to play to the level that he did play, I was impressed by it. And third, for those people, and apparently you and Pride both feel this way, I do not feel Dallas needs a point guard. I feel Luka is Dallas's point guard, or they point forward. I brought up to Pride, and I bring up to you one man named Grant Hill. Remember, there was a time when he was here with the Pistons. Yeah, granted, we had Lindsey Hunter and whatnot, but truthfully, Grant Hill was the point guard for that team. I mean, everybody in this day and age of NBA look at it from one or two standpoints. One, I hate this new NBA, all the three-point shooting, nah. Two, I hate this positionless play in the NBA. Somebody should get their booty in the post and post up. And of course, we'll get into that when we talk WNBA, because that's part of why I like the WNBA, perhaps even more so than the NBA right now. It's because they do still have position players. But when all is said and done, Boston, they have earned their criticism and have also earned the respect now, because they didn't got that monkey off their back. They are the champions. They are going to get their money. And I can't be mad at none of it.
And the thing is, too, the crazy part about it, I wasn't as critical as to, my man's,
remember, Luka did finish second in the NBA this season in assists.
I wasn't as critical, but I just think that with him, man, and it ain't even really nothing about his game. My issue is with him. He needs to, be better shape when he come in and
now
be
that I definitely agree.
I feel like he needs to leave that hookah and liquor or that alcohol and like the beers alone and just focus on his game. We know how great he is. I definitely give him his praises, but I just feel like certain things like his conditioning, his weight, and watching what he do as far as health reasons, like the drinking and stuff. I just want him to take a step back on that and don't do that and focus on the season, because I can't really point all the finger at him and saying that he wasn't a good teammate, because Kyrie left him hanging, man. Like you said, Boston got to him, man. He know when he left, he felt like he wished he could have did better by Boston, and he didn't. And when he go back to Boston, the people tell him how it is, man. And I just feel like even Draymond Green said, man, that's a hard environment to play in, man. He said even when it came to me playing, I even, got caught up in that, man. He said that's just a hard place to play. But I just feel like with Kyrie, he's not at peace with that. And like you said, it definitely affected his game. But more or less who I was disappointed with was the what you call the Jags. I was more disappointed in them because I didn't feel like they did anything, man. We seen how decent PJ Washington was and how Dennis, what's my man's name? Derek, man, I'm getting the names.
Yeah, Derek Jones Jr.
Derek Jones Jr. Yeah, he didn't step up. Derek Lively didn't step up. PJ Washington didn't do his job. I was disappointed.
Cut Tim Hardaway Jr. right now. Cut him. You gotta go.
Because what the hell be wrong with him? Is he healthy scratches? Because at first, remember I told you I thought he was injured. Is he a healthy scratcher? They just not playing him, and why?
They just weren't playing him. And when he did play, what did he do?
And they gave him all that money too, man. You
And
know,
Kim
I don't
Harvey
think,
played better than when he was in than when Tim Hardaway Jr. was in. He got to go. I cut him.
yeah, he just wastes, man. He a waste of space right now. Because when he wasn't playing, I'm like, damn. Remember, I asked you, was he injured? But to be just a healthy scratch, something's not right with that brother, man. And I think they just need to cut their losses, man.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, the Jags, they definitely did not step up for Dallas. They most definitely did with Boston. When you look at people like
Sam Hauser and Pritchard, man.
absolutely. Even Tillman, when those couple games that Porzingis missed, he stepped up.
Yeah, the big dude, the center. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what?
Former Michigan State Spark.
Remember, I was telling you that he was going to contribute well with the Boston Celtics. That's one thing that kind of at first kind of pissed me off. Like, man, I didn't understand Memphis doing that. Like, you guys get rid of him, and like for what? Y'all don't really have no big men or nothing over there, you know, like that you know could contribute. And he was leading the league or like one of the leaders in block shots, man. And then they just let him go to Boston. Like, man, like they gave Boston some of them good tools that they had, you know. And yeah, like you said, that was crucial for them, man. Xavier Tillman to go over there when Porzingis was hurt, man. Hopefully Porzingis can get back to healthy because, man, him being the center and being a force in the middle, he wasn't really shooting no threes and deep shots, man. You seen him playing more like a traditional center, blocking shots and doing things of that, dunking on people. And that was rare for Porzingis, man. Him doing that now made me actually respect him even more because I always thought he was decent with the Knicks. I thought he kind of filtered off when he went to Dallas. We thought we was going to get another Dirk Nash situation. That didn't escalate. I started to notice more of him when he went to the Wizards. But then when he went to Boston, I said how healthy he's going to be. And then, yeah, he was healthy for the most part of the season, you know, but yeah, it was just a freak accident in the playoffs. But yeah, he played better than what I thought he was going to play. But you know, one person we missing, Ian, we ought to be ashamed of ourselves, man. Big ups to our man Al Horford, man, the first Dominican Republic champion, you know.
Absolutely. I said if you can't be happy for Al Horford, something wrong with him.
He's a good dude. I love him with Florida.
Years and all the different teams and whatnot, he has definitely earned it.
I loved him in Florida, man, when he played for that championship with him, Joakim Noah, and all those guys, man. That was a really good team, man. And Corey Brewer and all them guys, man. Just you know, to see them, I thought they was a really good squad, man. And then for Al Horford to come in and just be as good as he was with Atlanta and the other teams he went to, he contributed, man. He left Boston and came back, and that was good.
Right. Remember his time in Philly. And Philly, you were stupid for letting him go. I ain't gonna lie.
Didn't understand that, man. Like they didn't use him right, man. You already know that. They didn't make him play his game. And then it seemed like Joel was feeling some kind of way when he first went there anyway. You know how he was when, you know, Al Horford first got there.
Right. Now the question we gotta ask is the same one we asked this time last year. Is Boston coming back next year? Are they repeating?
I definitely think that they could go back deep. I'm not sure about repeating yet because nobody repeated, man. There's been 6 different champions, man. I think that they have an opportunity to repeat, but it's going to be hard, man. They're going to have to be on a game. One thing that I don't want to happen if they do try to repeat, if like Derek White goes somewhere else, man, because I feel like he's been a key call to what they've been doing over there, man. Their mental toughness, the defense.
I would definitely say if they don't sign their top 8 players, then no, they don't repeat. Everybody that's on that team now that contributes to a great degree, they need to be back.
Because one of my boys said something that I thought made sense, man, and he was saying that that's something that they should consider if they do. Because I said, man, I just hope, man, when Jason Tatum gets signed, that they don't lose Derek White. That's what I was telling one of my boys, and he said, Hugh, but if they do lose him, man, do you think a player of star status like Clay will go over there on a veteran minimum? I said, I don't think he would.
No, I'll tell you now, Clay is not signing for no veteran minimum nowhere. If he was going to do that, the one place he obviously would go would be where his father played with the Lakers. I do not see Clay doing that. That's part of why they probably won't sign him, because he feel like he has earned that money. He at least wants to make what Draymond made off the deal, and I honestly don't feel he deserves that. Because truthfully, I don't feel like Draymond deserves what he's making right now.
No. They need to take a cut. They need to take a step back financially now, man, if they wanted to do anything. But then again,
I said, if they truly wanted to win, I would highly suggest that the three of them somehow take a cut, including Steph Curry. It ain't like he pressed for the money.
Because I feel like right now, none of them in a situation where they're healthy enough and then they're young enough to even try to run it back. Right. You know, with all that type of money.
I understand, and this is how crazy this is, y'all, as we about to get to the WNBA next. Steph Curry, by himself, with just his salary, makes more money next year than every player. Hear what I just said, Hugh. Than every player in the WNBA.
Every player.
By himself.
That's a damn shame, man. It's crazy. It's criminal.
So when we talk about how the pay grade is different, and I know there's those you like, well, they don't deserve that and all that. And again, you know I'm gonna get on you, and I'm gonna keep getting on you, Pride. You disrespect the WNBA. You gotta give it a chance, bro.
Yeah, I definitely think that he'd appreciate
that old school, man. Come off that old school.
I think what he don't like is it's not like fast, like, you know, the dunking and all that, you know, spadazzle that you get in the regular NBA, man. I know a lot of guys I've heard, in my opinion, they be like, well, man, why would I watch the WNBA, man? If I do, they need to lower the rims, man, because these chicks can't even dunk. And I said, what does that guy?
Brittany Griner is 6'9.5". She can dunk whenever she feels like it. Trust.
Yeah, that's funny too. I was just looking, you know, I had to ease them, you know, take my eyes down to see what was going on some of these scores, man. You know, with the new equipment, they are showing me all the stuff that's going on live, you know. So yeah, but I just really I had to do that too, because at one point, remember, I got to the point where I started feeling like pride, man. But then you was like, because remember when I told you something, man, you laughed at me like, you can't be serious. And I was like, remember one of the first things I asked you before I would start watching the ladies' college again. I said, man, is Louisiana Tech one of the still the best teams in the league? And you looked at me like, Louisiana Tech, damn, Hugh, how long ago was you watching? And then I started checking out some of the chicks, man, and started doing more reports on them as far as their scores and stuff, and fell in love with like the Maddie Seacrest's, the Caitlin Clark's, the Angel Reese's, and, you know, just a lot of the women, man, that I really started to pay more attention to. And that escalated to me talking about them a whole lot more than I should. And then now on the last two draft classes, I feel like a proud dad, because all the women that we seen who went from college to the pros, and they even call Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, you know, rivalry like a new version in NBA, like Bird and Magic. So yeah, it's just been really fun to watch and see how they grew in the game. Because before I watched the college real good, Eve, what was the first thing that you told me to watch, if you remember? The WNBA, that championship. It was the championship between Vegas, and it was before they played Liberty. Who's the first team? The first championship they was in. I forgot who was the other team. But yeah, they won the championship, and I was like, man, that was a really good series. It was just a really hard-nosed, competitive, aggressive basketball. And then when they ran it back, I got familiar with those women too as well. But the best part about it is I'm starting to know a lot of these beautiful sisters, man, and seeing commercials, State Farm, and different things of that nature is cool, man. And seeing Jimmy Buck is at one of the LA games, man, giving Cameron Brink her props, and, you know, we wishing her a healthy and a safe recovery, man. Because when, you know, we was talking earlier, you know, she has an ACL injury. So yeah, man, she's definitely out for the season. But it's been really good parody to the WNBA, some of the good college players who came in. Big ups to Elisa Pili, man, who's fitting in right along with her team. You already know I'm gonna keep talking about Kate Martin, man. You know, she ain't even supposed to be there. That's what a lot of us thought, because, you know, we didn't even think she was gonna get drafted at first. But I knew how good of a player she was for seeing her and how well she meshed with Caitlin Clark. To seeing her go on the team like the Aces, kind of figured she was going to fit in well, man. And she's pretty good. And I'm happy to see her development starting to pick up too, because it's a hard thing to go from the college collegiate and go to the WNBA. Damn, I'm thinking it's harder to do that to go to the NBA nowadays with all this, you know, soft European league play. I said it, E.
Man, like I said, I'm I like watching the rookies and stuff play as well. I'm looking forward to the next college season, obviously. But we got to talk about some of the veterans of the WNBA that have definitely stepped up. In particular, the one that I have paraded and basically stomped for every week to get the hell up out of Russia. Now she is back home. She is healthy. Her mind is right, and she is balling.
Damn, that was the best game I seen all year, E. That was the best game all year. Remember when I texted you last night? Yeah, that was that good. Because I didn't think they were going to win that game.
With her playing like that, and Taurasi then stepped her game up with her as well, keeping in mind that they have also played together in Russia as well. Look out, top of the league. Here they come. Here they come. And remember, there are a few players that are out right now for their prospective teams. And once they get back, things should get even more interesting. For example, you got Sabu Sabali that plays for the Dallas Wings. She is an all-star. Definitely look forward to her coming back. Definitely got to talk about the point guard, Chelsea Gray. Remember, even though I believe I want to say they're like 8-6, something like that right now.
Yeah.
Baby Aces. When she come back, whole different ball game, whole different team.
Yeah, it's definitely a different team with her.
And then there's a couple other players that's names are not crossing my mind at this point, but when they come back, they definitely will make their teams better too. I mean, especially with Cameron Brink gone from the Los Angeles Sparks, they do need Azare Stevens back badly. 6'6" out of UConn. They definitely need another big person, and they need her to come back sooner than later.
Yeah, because they've been struggling as of late, man. That one game, I thought that they were going to beat one of the teams they play. I'm thinking, I'm trying to see who it was. I'm thinking it was the Minnesota Lynx. I thought that they were going to beat them at first because they had a huge lead. And I said, dang, this might be the night the Lynx might take another L. And they ended up, coming back because that team has been really good, man. And that's something I was surprised with. Remember, I talked to you like, damn, man, I didn't think that they were going to be that good this year. Nobody seen that. But yeah, that team, man, the way they've been playing, man, they've been one of the better teams to watch too.
Absolutely. And another person who you want to keep an eye on, because she's not just a villain, she's actually a good player.
She actually has been playing good.
She still is leading the league in bench points per game, Trinity Carter. She is a very good player.
She quicker than
a few years ago, and she's starting to play like that now. And I do believe her teammates, they bond together because that was part of the problem she had and a couple of other places she was at that she did not bond well with those particular teammates. But these particular young ladies, they seem to like her. There we go. Her and Angel Reese, they definitely seem to have a nice little bond that they build.
Yeah, she's quick, man. I didn't know she was that fast, man. She can blow past anybody in the league.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how fast she is.
Absolutely. She kind of reminds me of WNBA version of Rod Strickland, if you remember him.
Yeah, you come on now. I remember Rod, man. That dude, I don't think he got the credit he deserved when he was in the league.
He did not.
He was one of the best point guards all time, man. But they didn't give him his props, man, because when he was on, man. He was the beginning of he was Starberry before Starberry. Can you
right.
agree with me on that?
He was a better version of the guy Sham guy. One of my favorite NBA names ever. Guy Sham guy.
Man, you know who else I was watching, man? And I forgot he threw up the 50-piece on Jordan, man. That's when they blackballed him, man. Mahmoud Abdul Rayouf, man. Remember that, brother?
You may also know him as Chris Jackson, but yes, former LSU teammate of the great Shaquille O'Neal.
That dude, man. He used
to remember 1 year in college, he did lead college in points per game 1 year.
Yeah, that dude, man. It's a lot of dudes that they ain't getting their credit to, man, in the NBA, man. But,
I mean, we could talk about that for literally hours. I mean, remember, I grew up and I went to school at Eastern Michigan University. The greatest player from Eastern Michigan University to ever come out of Eastern, of course, is the great Iceman George Gervin. Then, of course, there's World Be Free, for those of y'all who are familiar with World Be Free.
That's funny.
We could go on and on.
I think he built the basketball course at Drew for us at one point, man. He built them, like rebuilt them. And then, when Fila came to town and, Grant started doing stuff for Detroit, man, we had like a new court built, man. They had like basketball tournaments and yeah, man, them was good up days, I miss the 90s.
Agreed. But yeah, what else you got for us, Hugh?
Man, I wanted to talk about, did you hear about the college expansion, man? That was when we first started to get on the air. The college is about to expand in the basketball tournament. I said, damn, do we need any more teams in the tournament, man? But I think that they're about to get more teams to play in the tournament that I saw, man. I'm about to try to pull that up for you, E. Yeah, they were saying that I'm going to just give you a quick footnote. The NCAA unveils men's March Madness expansion. They plan to bring an additional 4 to 8 teams. So we're going to have at least maybe 4 teams this year, or they probably going to see how it works with the 4 teams, for a minute, and then they might expand into 8, or they might expand it to another 8 teams in general.
Well, you got to remember here, I think what that works out to is instead of having the playing games, they're just going to put those teams in. So it's not that.
It's basically the same. It's basically the same. Yeah, because the playing games, I feel like they've been live to watch, but they don't even come on when the regular March Madness come on. And just think about them other 4 to 8 teams that have joined and do the March Madness, man. Dude, they probably start March the 1st when this happened. So yeah, I mean more. Hey, well, I'm gonna complain more sports and more basketball? Not at all.
Right.
Do that.
And a couple other things that's happening, because keep in mind, for those of you familiar with the bowl season in NCAA, recently, Snoop Doggy Dogg, Calvin Brodus himself, has basically bought the rights to a bowl game. But what makes this really unique is the fact that every player that plays in the bowl game on either side is going to receive some type of money. They're going to get their NIL deal from just playing in the game. And I think that is something that they're looking into now since that, because remember, part of what made bowl season sucky these last few years is the fact that we get to the bowl game and then the best other player on the team would be like, oh, no, I'm not playing. I can't risk getting hurt. Nope. I'm just going to declare for the draft and sit down.
Yeah, that'll definitely impact that, man.
Them offering some incentive to play now, I think we would get more of those people to actually play to make these bowl games a bit more exciting, because some of them, they all right, but some of them bowls, especially when you learn half of the team ain't playing, why even bother?
You remember that time when me and you were laughing, man, and it ended up being now one of the worst things that ever could have happened in bowl history. And that's when we start getting tired and saying, man, they need to do something to have the players play, because if they figure they're not in a bowl or like the tournament, that they just like, man, I'm going to tap out. What was the worst thing that you remembered, if you could recall, man? And we laughed at this because we thought that was the worst thing anybody ever did. It was like the lowest thing I think a player have done in history right now, from backing out of a bowl game. Remember when Ohio State that time, they ended up not making the bowl game and Nick Bosa just packed up and left?
Yeah.
Like a month before the bowl game.
And not only did he not just play the bowl game, he left the team, he left the school.
And got ready for the NFL. That was the lowest thing I've ever seen somebody do.
I think the only thing worse than that, I remember the one year where the kid basically at halftime was like, I'm done, and left.
Damn, I forgot who that was. Yeah, I remember too.
Who that was either.
And they talked about it like he left and he figured that he was just going, get ready for his his pro career.
Yeah.
Damn,
I want to say he was a running back. I just don't recall what team that was. Any of y'all out there that's watching, know who that was, by all means, throw it in the comments.
Yeah, that dude quit at halftime. That was really low.
Yeah. Okay. Let me throw something in the mix right quick, Hugh. Well, a couple things. One, that that Stanley Cup thing that got kind of interesting, didn't it?
Ooh, man, I was mad. I thought my boy was gonna pull it off in 5, but then the Edmonton Oilers said, "Man, hey, we ain't going nowhere yet." And stunned them dudes on their home ice, because remember, at first I thought the game was so close that I thought that there was a possibility they could have went into overtime. But Edmonton pulled off and they ended up winning that game. Surprised the hell out of me. And you know what's funny too? Pat McAfee was saying, it ain't no way the Panthers is not going to close out now. And I was like, I sure hope not, because I had them in 5. And he thought that Boston would have been more of the extended series versus the Panthers. And it was the other way around. Boston closed out. And remember what I told you, man, like I said, yeah, I cheered for Dallas. But what I told you that night, they going to blow Dallas out, man. It's going to be the double digits. It's going to be nasty, E. And but when that happened, that surprised me, man, because now I was interested on a hockey end, because now they got to go back to Edmonton, man. I don't know, E.
And I don't know if y'all been keeping up with it. I'm sure Road still has. Shout out to Road. But yeah, game 4 in Edmonton, it was off the chain. I can only imagine what it's going to be like for game 6. That being said, yes, granted, Florida has beaten the 2 best teams in hockey, I think, en route to getting to this point. When you talk about them beating Boston and New York. But keep in mind, the best player on the ice right now does not play for the Florida Panthers. He plays for the Edmonton Oilers, and he is Connor McDavid. And he showed you last night why he is considered one of the best players, if not the best player in hockey right now.
I agree.
Yeah, he got down. And if he can get hot like that again in this next game,
they can force
anything can happen in game 7.
And all they got to do is keep believing, man.
Yeah, because remember, nobody has ever won 3-0 in the NBA Finals and came back and won. That has happened in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Man, that is crazy too, man. Just really when I saw that, I was hurt. I said, man, damn, they didn't pull it off. I really thought that they had a chance, but it was just like you said, the Oilers just outplayed them, man, and they showed last night.
You know, Edmonton was one of my favorite teams back in the day when, of course, they had the great Gretzky. So I wanted them to win for that reason. Again, and I've said it, and I will continue to say it. NHL needs a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. It hasn't happened in almost 30 years now. If I remember right, the last team to win the Stanley Cup from Canada was indeed Edmonton Oilers. But I also want them to win because one of the guys on that team is Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse, for those of you who do not know, is the nephew of the great Donovan McNabb, former NFL quarterback. He is also the brother of Kia Nurse, the point guard, the shooting guard for the Los Angeles Sparks. So because of that, I definitely want to see them win. Not to mention him look like this.
That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say to me, man. But yeah, man, I've been surprised, man, because I wasn't really following too much of hockey. Now I'm starting to try to understand. I'm just trying to get a little bit more of an understanding of the sport now, man. But I've definitely been chiming in, and I seen it in this finals, or that the Stanley Cup, that them guys been scoring in bunches too, man. It's been better than what I normally see sometimes during the regular season, because the regular season they got that, he's coming up the ice, and then it ain't really that hype. It's damn near like golf on ice when they in the regular season. Playoffs is totally different, man. They're a lot more hype, and that's what I was telling people too, E, about baseball. I was telling my cousin before. I said, yeah, you watching in the regular season when it's chilling, it's laid back, and I'm in the recliner about to half go to sleep. I said, wait till you come over and watch it in the playoffs. It's totally two different tales of two tapes, man. And it has been more interesting. I think last year was a little bit more physical, but this year it's just been a lot more scoring and gamesmanship. And yeah, it's starting to reel me in. He like, man, you ever thought that we had
nothing like when you watch the hockey game in a hockey stadium where they really are engaged in hockey. Like, ain't nothing like Hockey Town when the Red Wings is winning. And yeah.
You really
whenever they get back to that point in Little Caesars Arena, it will be off the chain up in there.
Because you really thought we'd be talking more about hockey more than 10 minutes on this show, man. And I definitely liked when we were winning, man. I definitely hope we can get back to that. They were so close this year, man. They squandered the lead that they had to get out the
We just need a
playoffs.
couple decent moves. Keeping in mind that the NHL draft, I believe, is next week. We just need a couple more moves, and we there. Remember, we got that close to making the playoffs.
We was better when it seemed like we was a better team when we had all our players from Mother Russia, though. You notice that?
Hey, I can't deny that. I cannot. Okay, one more thing, Hugh, then you can go ahead and finish it up. We'll talk about what we're going to do in the summertime and all that.
Yes, sir.
Here's some news that may be of interest to some of y'all that are golf fans. The PGA has decided to do a very, very special thing for the greatest player in golf today. And no, that is not DeChambeau. No, that is not Scott Scheffler. We're talking about, of course, the one and only Tiger Woods. They have offered to give him a special exemption to where he can basically play when he wants in whatever tournament he wants for as long as he wants. Something that they have only did and said they will only do for Tiger Woods. Do you think that's fair? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What's your thoughts, Hugh?
You already know my thoughts on that, man. I feel like with this guy, man, when he comes around, I don't care if he was 90 playing. Guess what? There's going to be so many people and sponsors and advertisers there. That's what he did to the game of golf, man. So I better put some respect on that man's name and allow him to do that. I really like the fact, because sometimes I'm kind of frustrated with him, man. Sometimes I'll be wanting him to do good, and he just kind of just falter off, and he just fall off, man. He'd be at a decent level, and then you will lose him. But I still feel like if, man, he get enough chance to just stay motivated and continue to play and craft this game, that he still got another championship in him, man. It's crazy, like a PGA Tour championship or winning the tournament. It seems crazy, but it can possibly happen, especially with this type of incentive now, saying, man, you can go whatever championship round or whatever tournament or whatever you want to do. We'll give you, the actual. We'll give you the driver's seat. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see that. I think it was well-deserved, man. I think a couple other people, before they retire, they're going to give them that opportunity to, Roy McIlroy and some of those, guys up-and-coming dudes who've been playing well. You possibly might.
I don't think so. I think this is a Tiger rule only. Keep in mind, there was actual talk about allowing him to not even have to walk the courses. He could just ride the golf cart if he wanted. But
no, man, come on, E. They doing that too?
No, they said he himself declined that. He said that's something he might think about. If he was
man, that ain't right.
Right now, he said no. He's not.
Hey, that's making him feel like he an old man.
Right, but like I said, keep in mind, how important is Tiger Woods to the game of golf?
It's very important for them to do that.
My grandmother watched golf because of Tiger Woods. Okay?
Funny thing too, E, man, when you say this, and I ain't even trying to be funny, you probably understand what I'm about to say when I say this too. Before, when I used to watch hockey, I said hockey. When I used to watch golf, what I used to watch golf for, man, is like I'd be at the house and like say for instance, me and my cousin was about to go out hanging, partying, or what have you. We would actually like before we go out and we need to get some sleep, and he'd be like, "Hugh, man, what's up, man? I'm not even tired, man. And I just, I don't want to stay up. I want to try to get some rest before we go out and party hard," when we was in our early 20s. I said, man, give me the remote. Let me see what's up. Man, I see if one of them hockey tournaments, one of those golf tournaments was on. I throw that mug on and I just be like, just sit back, man, kick your feet in the recliner and just listen to this golf, man. You go to sleep in a minute. And it went from me watching golf to get some sleep or try to get sleep before I go out and party to actually starting to respect the game, man, and what it was about. So yeah, man, hockey and like golf games like that I thought I'd never watch, they really start to step their game up, man. They made me believe it. As I got older, I started to have more of an open mind because I've told myself, and you're going to laugh because you heard it today. I told people I would never listen to classical music. I think I listen to more classical music than I do anything now. So, man, you have a change of, perspective as you get up in age, man, and when you start to get older or what we call wiser in age.
Understand, Hugh, I still have my PlayStation 3. The main reason why I still have that PlayStation 3, even though there's a 4 and a 5 and a 6 about to come out, is because my favorite game is Tiger Woods Golf.
Yes, sir.
And we'll play it in the middle of the night. And be cheering and laughing and the whole deal. Like it's a whole live sport to me.
Yeah, man, definitely been excited, man. I know it ain't really too much as we're gonna be going on. I know a lot of our fans don't really listen to too much and pay attention to too much baseball, man. So I'm gonna definitely be doing like my guru perspective. I will be talking baseball. I'm about to run down some of the guys who I feel like is going to be some of the guys that possibly might get sold, and I'm gonna talk about this buyer and seller market. And you can catch that on, like I said, every Tuesday, at 1 p.m. I do that, the Guru Perspective. And then, of course, on Instagram, you can catch me on Hoovy, and that's WHOOVI. I do most of my highlight reels on Instagram, and I do them from all sports. If it's something I feel like that was exciting, I'll put it on there. But I've learned some of the keys to the guidelines now. I don't think they like a lot of violence on these guidelines and fights, so I've been trying to keep it away from there. And on TikTok, you can find me on Hugh.Lee6, and that's another place where I put my platform as far as my highlight reels and sports reels. And of course, you can catch me on Sportsguru to you as well, man. I'm now trending in a better direction because I kind of froze for a minute. I was stuck on 477. Now I'm climbing up again to 480. Here we go. Like you see all my links and all the things that you can catch me on, and that's on my Sportsguru to you Facebook page. And I appreciate all the people who's been chiming in and listening to the show, man. And definitely been happy with the podcast too, with the Guru Perspective, because I get a chance to kind of break down different things for you and talk about it, and just basically show the platform a certain stats, man. I get to be a stat guy on that one. So, but I appreciate everybody and the love and support, and more than anything, I appreciate E-Buck, man, from giving me all these new beats, and he's definitely working on different promos and doing different things for me to help as well, not just for me, but our show, that comes on every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And appreciate all the love and support there.
Yeah, and keep in mind, y'all, like I said, this is our season finale for this thing. We will be back with you guys right around football season. You know what it is. We will definitely, as we always do, give you our NFL preview. I must admit, I'm kind of scared as to who I think might win it all this year. Based on what I see so far, you kind of know where I'm going with it. But we'll see what happens between now and then. I definitely like the latest move that team made by signing the kid Bates out of the UFL.
Man, dude, the things that we thought they was missing, they just cleaned up on, because people was like, oh, why did we get so many cornerbacks? Man, don't you know we got 2 of the top 5 cornerbacks? And then when you said, Hugh, all I think we missed is a kicker, man. That's why we had to go on there so much on 4th and 1. And next thing you know, man, we got the kid from the UFL, man. And I was like, oh, man, he's going to probably give Justin Tucker a run for his money. And I've been pretty excited about that. And I've been definitely drinking that Kool-Aid, man.
Right. Not to mention the fact, remember, it's only like 2 or 3 outdoor games we playing this year. And if we do what we need to do to where all the playoff games come here to the D, based on that crowd we seen last year for the playoffs. Okay, we just said enough. We don't let it marinate.
We need to stop playing too. We need to go to Target and all them places that had that Lions memorabilia, man, and all the stuff, man, before they go up, man. Because remember when I bought them?
Up for real. Remember when we was on the bandwagon when we've been on here all along.
Remember when I bought them those house shoes, man? I went back, them boys was damn near $30, man. So we better get it while it's cheap, man. Because hell, even the tickets are like triple the price now, man. The tickets is like how much a Thanksgiving game used to cost. And I'm like,
absolutely,
I love my Lions, but I'll be cheering their asses on at home.
Right on. So yeah, like I said, we got that going on. If by the way, my friend, if you are going to look out like that for me with that the PS5, I'm with it. I ain't mad at you. because we'll talk about it here. That's kind of a insider thing. But anyway, nonetheless, good people, this is the Guru Sports Perspective. I have been your co-host E-Buck. That, of course, is Hugh Lee. We will give him the last word before we depart. Like I said, we will be back near the end of August, talking football and everything else. The Olympics been jumped off by then. We got Wimbledon and all that. Good luck to Coco Gauff in that one. She is the number 2 ranked player in the world. I hope she pull it off. And all the other little stuff in between. Of course, the WNBA All-Star game and all that'll jump off. Go ahead, Hugh. Finish up,
God bless, man, and we'll see y'all in the football season.
All righty then. That being said, y'all know what it is. We're throwing the fingers up and we is out.